All right, welcome back, guys, to another episode of APinballPodcast. It is episode 30, November 21st, 2020. Coming back at you guys, and I have an awesome beard going on. Jeff, Marty, I know you guys are jealous right now. This is what I got. This is like Joe Dirt right here. So it's all good today. Anyhow, lots of news coming up this week. Everybody is saying how there's no news. Then it all hits instantaneously. And right now, the main thing that we're going to talk about is Deeproot Pinball for now. Hopefully this will be a little bit of shorter podcast, around 15-20 minutes, I hope. And I'm probably saying that right now, and I'm actually stringing it out a little bit longer. Anyhow, we'll get to other news later on this week, probably on a Monday or Tuesday right before Thanksgiving. I am still working on my review for Avengers. I don't have my wire form in yet. It's been over a month. I don't know. I don't even know what to do about it. I'm probably just going to sit down and just do the review. I think that's all we can do for now. Anyhow, let's talk about the main topic at hand, and that's the Deeproot Pinball Reveal, I guess, tonight for Raza. I don't know what number reveal this is for now or what number attempt it is, but it's coming out, guys. It is coming out, and it's here. As of now, it's here. I mean, it hasn't been confirmed that it's at the place it's supposed to be at, but they're saying it's here, and according to Facebook, and this is Deeproot's own Facebook page, that these are not prototypes. These are final production games. So final production games. So according to Deeproot, they're going to have the arcade and extra editions of Retro Atomic Zombie Adventureland at What's Brewing, which is in San Antonio, Texas. That's going to be today, November 21st, on a Saturday from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m., then tomorrow from noon to 3 p.m. So What's Brewing is going to host them. Raza is also going to be on free play. And apparently there's 30 plus other pins there also while people wait in line. I never heard of this place, but awesome for doing this. Although I will say it's a very interesting time to be doing this, and we'll get to that here in just a few. But anyhow, talking about Raza in general, yours truly did get a chance to play it roughly a year ago now, actually right at a year ago now. And I got hands-on experience with it, multiple games. And, you know, there was a lot of people that were sounding the alarm about gameplay issues, about the ramp, about all that. And admittedly, I was probably one of the voices, at least on a national level. I do that in quotation marks because I don't even know what that even means for pinball. But I was one of the voices that was able to at least talk about it to where more people could listen due to Canada's Pinball Podcast from over a year ago being on it, and then also posting up on Pinside what my overall experience was on it. And we don't have to go back over that. That's just beating a dead horse at this point. But for those that haven't seen it before, let me open up a window capture real quick. Hopefully it's the right one. Okay, there we go. So this is actually video of me. If you're on YouTube right now, you're seeing this. This is video of me actually playing Raza at the Houston Arcade Expo last year. And this was legitimately day one, probably within 3 or 4 hours of it being out on the floor. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, guys, it's not my favorite. So let's keep this in mind. Before, as this is going, keep this in mind. There's no code on it whatsoever. And of course, you guys see the famous ramp happening right there. There's no code on it to speak of or anything like that. It's very bare bones right now. And it's basically playing as a glorified Whitewood. Another ramp miss. Awesome. I felt so good doing that. But what I was really looking at while I was playing this game was just getting a feel for the shots, getting a feel for the geometry, and another ramp miss, of course. But, you know, generally speaking, I found myself, you know, essentially finding that I wasn't having very much fun shooting it. And you know, that could be a mix between geometry. I think it's a lot of a mix. If you notice on the flippers, there's a lot of give right there. There's a lot of play. It was almost like the game was shot at that point, just within a few hours. There's, you know, I won't say there's major mechanical issues going on, but the game just played very floaty. Flippers weren't that powerful. You know, shots weren't really that satisfying on their own. And it just generally felt like just a long playing game with no flow whatsoever. And that's the way it felt. And so, you know, circling back here and just kind of putting this all together, a couple of the main things that I know that have been addressed since they did have their initial reveal that they were going to have a couple of months ago. I think it might even be right at 2 months ago today, back in September. And one of the things that they noticed or that they stated, or I think that somebody said it at some point, that the right ramp is now makeable. I think Robert even said that on a previous podcast somewhere, that even a baby can make it. So that's good that that's been fixed. One of the other things that I did hear, or that I do remember seeing from a previous photo of it also, is the fact that the return to the left side, to the left flipper, no longer just drops it in front of the sling. It actually drops it in the in lane. And I think that's a big deal right there. That is a huge deal, because I was having issues with that as well. Although, granted, I never had a return right there. It just didn't make sense that the return was coming there, with all things being said. So hopefully these issues have been addressed. Hopefully, it shoots a little bit better than what it did a year ago. I'm sure it did, or it does, with some of the things that they fixed. But there's a lot of other $1 million questions. There's a lot of other $1 million questions. And before I get into those, I do know that Fliptronic from the TPN network is going to be the one streaming this. Now, I don't know anything about them, don't know them, but I'm glad somebody's at least streaming it live, I guess, so that way people can see it, which is going to happen at sometime around 6 p.m. tonight on Twitch. And again, pinball streams, you guys know how I feel about that. I don't think it's the smartest thing to do, but at this point, especially after millions of dollars and years of production, it almost feels like that Deeproot is just tossing it out there. And obviously that this is seen as just things being put together last second, and so when things feel like that they're being put together last second, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. There is a lot of things that could go wrong with the stream overall. And I know I'm basically all over the place because there's so much to cover with this. So we'll just stick with the stream for now. And then I'm going to discuss, I'll come back around to some of the things that I'd like to see Deeproot address, that they are most likely going to address. I hope these answers come out this weekend. But the stream in general, what I'm really worried about right now is, one, internet connection. Hopefully internet connection is good down there. I always get worried when somebody is streaming on location. It's just, you never know. You never know. On top of that, I'm worried for that chat. I really am. Robert has been a very polarizing figure over years at a time. And just judging by how the Pinside thread is going, it could be interesting tonight, guys. It could be very interesting in that chat. I mean, and I'm talking like, get your popcorn out. It might be just a heavyweight fight in that chat. And, hopefully everything goes off well. Hopefully there's no major issues, but, who knows? But so I would look for that to be kind of the main thing. My main worry is just, how's their communication going to come off? If people aren't able to answer questions, if nobody's able to answer questions readily in the chat, it's going to be interesting. Let's just put it that way. That's all I can say. I know I keep repeating myself, but that's the way it feels at this point. It feels like Groundhog Day all over again, but they're going in. And obviously this is kind of put together last second. I don't know if putting on location, debuting it this way, if that's last second. Obviously showing a debut stream is very last second. Otherwise they would have talked about that from the get-go. They would have hyped this up a lot more. So, just putting it together last second after all these years, after promising the 5 days of Deeproot, after, all the claims, just everything. I don't know. It's an odd way to roll it out, but I guess at least it's being rolled out. Now, obviously, I don't think these things are on the line right now. People have been wondering that. I don't see how it's possible. And the other reason why I don't think that they are, because they would have obviously said something about ordering. I would have thought that would have been the main goal of showing it off, was to say, hey, these are here, put in your order today. But again, it's been promised over years now. It's been promised that if you order one of these games, they'll be able to ship it within 2 weeks. So obviously, I don't think that's in the cards right now, which is probably why they're not saying anything about ordering this game. And again, it's very interesting that it's getting this much attention on a national level now, since they are going to show it on the internet live, and how that's going to correspond to whether people are accepting of this game or not. So rolling it back around to issues with the game that I hope has been addressed and I hope is fixed, and things that might happen. Sorry guys, had to take a sip of green tea. I'm losing my voice here. Anyhow, all right, several issues. Let's just address these. Obviously, we just talked about the ramp, and we talked about the return. I know that those are fixed up. I'm curious to see, from a coding standpoint now, where Bowden is at with this. Now, Bowden, he is a tremendous pinball mind. And I've said this many times that I think he's an asset to Deeproot. What I wish would have been done with his type of talent is starting him on a game that is at, scratch, at the foundation, and not him coming in trying to save a game. That's the only thing. And, this game, it looks like a hard game to kind of wrap your mind around, not just coding standpoint, but just a rules standpoint, just because of the lack of flow and everything. It's, to me, that leads to a lot of stop and go moments that you really have to think about coding into a game. And I'm curious to see how that plays out. So I'll be looking out for that. Another thing that I'm curious of is, how will this playfield look? It has been promised the hammer test. That's been hammered in at us, the hammer test. Now, is that won't be shown tonight. I don't think they're going to have an actual hammer showing that, although that would be badass. That would be badass if you guys did that in front of everybody, but I don't think that's going to happen. I am curious to see, though, how these playfields look. I'm very curious, based on what has been going on in the pinball industry, especially with Guns N' Roses. That's the hot topic right now. How are these playfields coming out? And it's been stated by Robert numerous times that this is going to be different. I think it was like a 10-year playfield wear and tear warranty that he was talking about, that, and all that. So I'm curious to see, how is that going to be? How are these playfields going to look? Is there going to be dimpling? Hopefully there's no dimpling. My expectation, based on what we've been told, is that this playfield is going to be the playfield. It's going to be the best of the best. That's going to be telling. I'm very curious to see people that are down there, what the reports are that come out. What are the pictures coming out? What is the actual wear and tear? Do they see any wear and tear? Another thing that I'm very curious of, because I did run into this when I played the prototype. And again, it's a prototype. So, take this for what it is, because it's a prototype. Have they addressed the issues of flipper wear and tear? Have they addressed the issues of just these little mechanical wear and tears, to where the machine actually feels like a well-oiled machine? It actually feels like what a pinball machine should feel like while you're playing it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel cheap or anything like that. And I'm not saying that the prototype at Houston felt cheap, but it was worrisome that I had that much play in the flippers just within a couple of hours of other people playing it. That is very worrisome. So hopefully that has been addressed. I assume it is. The other thing that I'm very worried about for this game, and this is a live stream thing. Again, this is a live stream thing. And they are playing with fire with this one. Again, we've talked about this before. You cannot control a gameplay reveal if it's live. You are at the mercy of what happens live. And right now, they're going to be in a situation in which this is going to be at a bar or a brewery. It's going to be played by a bunch of random people that, outside of Bowden, we're not going to see world-class pinball play tonight. So you guys buckle up. If you're planning on watching this, buckle up. That's what we're going to see. So it's going to be very telling. I thought when I played this game, this was before all the code, this before everything, this is just prototype, I thought it played clunky. And I'm a halfway decent shot. I'm halfway decent, guys. I don't know how people that hardly ever play pinball and are drinking, how that's going to look. And so I'm not expecting this game to look like it shoots great on stream. Now, if Bowden gets on and plays it, I'm sure he could make it look like it shoots great. And so I don't know how that's going to come off. And I don't know if that necessarily means that the way that it's designed, if that means that it shoots great or it doesn't shoot great. It's going to be very hard to tell when you have people on there that might not know what they're doing, and on top of that might be drinking. So that's going to be a curiosity. I'm very curious to see how that goes. Coding, like we talked about with Bowden on it, hopefully it comes around. Hopefully it makes sense. I'm not expecting this game to be high scoring at all. I don't think, it would not surprise me one bit if the scoring is kind of muted right now. So, I think that there needs to be a lot more games on it in order to figure out the score balance and everything. So that part I'm not so much worried about. I'm curious to see what the sounds are. The visuals on it were fantastic. When I saw it at Houston a year ago, they were fantastic. They really were. The animation, fantastic. I'm very curious to see what the final render and what the final product of that really looks like and what the final sounds really look like. I mean, Guns N' Roses knocked it out of the park with sounds and lights. But this is the first new pen that we can really see that we're going to judge that by that barometer. Hope I'm using the right term. That's how we're going to judge it. We're going to judge it based on what the best out, available right now is in terms of lighting, in terms of just pure heart pumping sound. And that is Guns N' Roses. That is. And that's what we're going to be judging this off of. So they've got their work cut out for them. Hopefully it works out. But guys, I don't know. Here's the way I'm going to approach it tonight. The way that I'm going to approach it tonight is I'm glad a final production game is being shown. I wish them the best of luck. My expectations are very low going into this. They're very low. And the reason being is just because so many deadlines have been missed, and they've all been self-imposed deadlines. There's such a history of just, I don't know. There's just this huge history behind this whole pinball machine that it's just been back and forth of thinking it's going to come out at TPF 1 year, then it's not, then thinking it's going to come out at TPF the next year, and then it's not, then thinking there's going to be a debut just a couple of months ago, and then there's not, the 5 days of Deeproot, and then it's not. We're on day like 2000 of it, possibly. Oh, guys, there's just no telling. So I'm keeping my expectations at bay. I'm wishing them the best. I hope that this pinball machine plays great. I hope that the sights and the sounds of it, the lights, everything, I hope it's great, because I know that there is an amount of buyers out there that really are into J-pop games, and they really are into Raza, and they've been waiting for Raza. And I want people to get what they want out of this hobby, and I want the people that have worked on this pen to be successful in what they're doing. So hopefully it all goes well. Again, I'm just curbing my expectations for it. Hopefully they exceed expectations, but we shall see, guys. So it'll be tonight at around 6 p.m. on Fliptronic's Twitch stream, and I think I'll probably just link that down below in the show notes. And I think, again, guys, it was 6 to 10 tonight, and I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. tonight at What's Brewing. I don't know if they're going to do the stream for that long or how that's really going to go down, but that's when I'm expecting it to come on. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it plays well, and this will make for a very interesting next 48 hours and a very interesting Thanksgiving holiday week. But other than that, though, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a great day. Later, guys.